Manchester United just lost a transfer race. Tottenham have agreed an £85 million deal for Matheus Fernandes, and on the surface, that looks like another United failure. But here's the question nobody's asking. What if losing this one was actually the plan working? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why smart recruitment sometimes means walking away from a deal everyone expects you to win. Let's rewind to last summer. United wanted Bryan Mbeumo. Brentford said no twice. They rejected the opening bid, then rejected a second one worth over £66 million. Most clubs panic at that point. United didn't. Why? Because one thing never changed throughout the entire saga. Mbeumo wanted Old Trafford. Sky sources confirmed it. Mbeumo confirmed it himself after signing, saying he'd wanted the move from the very start. That's not something you get from a transfer database. That's conviction. And conviction is exactly what changes how a boardroom behaves. United weren't negotiating with a player shopping for the highest bidder. They were negotiating with someone who'd already picked them, so they waited. Third bid, £65 million guaranteed, £6 million in add-ons, spread across 4 payments. Not a bargain, but a structure they could actually live with. The result? 33 league appearances, 11 goals, 3 assists in year 1. Patience paid off. But here's the part that matters most. Patience only works when the fundamentals are still there. Now fast forward to Fernandes. Completely different situation. West Ham signed him a year ago for around £38 million. His contract runs until 2030. Southampton are owed 15% of any sale. And West Ham just secured a fresh cash injection from shareholders, meaning they weren't desperate to sell at any price. Add it up and you get a club under zero pressure, sitting on a player they had every reason to hold out on. So when Tottenham showed up willing to pay £85 million, United had 2 options. Chase the number or trust their own valuation. They chose the second one. And that decision alone tells you more about this recruitment department than any transfer they've actually completed. Think about the wider market for a second. Declan Rice cost Arsenal over £100 million. Caicedo's move to Chelsea approached a similar figure. Manchester City are paying north of £116 million for Elliot Anderson. English football has become a tax on desperation. Meanwhile, United already agreed a deal worth roughly £35 million for a midfielder outside the Premier League. Announcement expected after the World Cup. Same position, less than half the cost. Suddenly, walking away from Fernandes doesn't look like failure. It looks like arithmetic. There are still names on the table too. Carlos Baleba if Brighton ever soften. Aurelien Tchouameni if Real Madrid ever listen. Alex Scott and Tyler Adams offering cheaper, proven alternatives. None of these are guaranteed. But having 4 backup plans instead of 1 obsession is exactly what separates a functioning recruitment department from a desperate one. Because here's the truth about the old Manchester United. And if you supported this club through the last decade, this next part is going to sting. United used to identify one target, fall in love with him, and let the selling club smell that desperation from a mile away. Antony cost £80.75 million. 2.5 years later, 12 goals in 96 appearances, sold to Real Betis for a fraction of the price. Mason Mount arrived for £55 million plus add-ons and barely stayed fit for 2 seasons. Andre Onana cost £51 million, lost his starting spot and ended up out on loan. Different players, identical pattern, overpay, overcommit, get stuck holding the contract. That wasn't bad luck. That was a system with no exit plan and no alternative targets, built entirely around whatever one manager wanted that summer. So what's actually different now? According to Jason Wilcox, recruitment meetings now cover the position needed, the exact player profile, the age bracket, the valuation ceiling, and, critically, whether the deal is realistic at all. The data department has a seat at the table. The head coach has input, but not a blank check. Omar Barada put it plainly himself. The club needs a clear plan, discipline, and the flexibility to move when opportunities appear that weren't there in June. Managers leave, systems change, but a well-built squad should survive both. Now, does that mean this era has been perfect? No. And you should be suspicious of anyone claiming otherwise. Manuel Ugarte still hasn't nailed down a starting role. Joshua Zirkzee remains, at best, unresolved. Nobody's pretending this rebuild is finished. But look at what's actually working. The new front 3 combined for 32 league goals and 6 assists this season. Noussair Mazraoui played over 2,800 minutes, 34 starts, 117 tackles, 35 interceptions across multiple positions. Senna Lamens, signed for around 18 million, played nearly 3,000 minutes, 79 saves, 7 clean sheets. Patrick Dorgu added 4 goals and 4 assists, while giving the left side genuine pace. That's not one lucky signing. That's a pattern. And notice the risk profile too. Mbeumo and Cunha were bought to deliver immediately. Lamens, Dorgu, Sesko and Mbeumo's fellow arrivals were bought for development and resale value. Aiden Heaven cost almost nothing and still contributes. That's not throwing darts at a board. That's portfolio management. So here's where this actually leaves Manchester United fans. Yes, missing out on Fernandes stings. Yes, Tottenham strengthened a direct rival. But ask yourself this. Would you rather United panic buy at 85 million because a rival showed interest, or hold their valuation and spend that difference on two positions instead of one? The real test isn't whether United win every headline. It's what happens in the next 6 weeks. If the alternative arrives, cheaper, hungrier, and genuinely wanted the move, this becomes the same story as Mbeumo all over again. If it doesn't, then yes, this was a missed opportunity. But for the first time in years, Manchester United have a reason for walking away that isn't panic and isn't paralysis. It's evaluation. And that, more than any single transfer, might be the actual turning point. So don't panic yet. Watch what comes next, because losing a transfer race on purpose is a very different story than losing one by accident. And right now, it's still too early to tell you which one this is.